right, we should be good to go. Apologize for being late. Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Road setup here is late night trans crib. It has been a long day, but a wonderful day as our horns, they Sark's debut, they looked good. They looked like they were ready for business and they freaking handled their business. Um, I am very, very impressed with, and you guys let me know if you can hear me okay. If there's any issues with sound, let me know. But I am thoroughly, thoroughly impressed with the professionalism on behalf of Steve Sarkisian within his opener. And there's something I want to touch on that I heard him say when I was getting in my car, and I was in the parking garage getting ready to head back to where we were headed. But overall, guys, I mean, and before I even get into everything and reviewing the game, shout out to our sponsor, BUSR. Make sure you guys go and take advantage of the offerings we have there. Hit up busr.com/fanatic, promo code NFL100FP. I actually went on there myself and put some money down and took advantage of the 8.5 point spread for Texas. As you guys know, which leads me into my point, I picked Texas to win 42-2. I think my prediction was 42-20 in our preview. 42-20. We win this game 38-18. So I was off by, I guess, 4 points in terms of, overall difference in points, whatnot. But, clearly I said, hey, I think we win this game comfortably. I thought we would come out and not necessarily be sluggish, but it's rust. It's the first game. It's the first game in front of 100,000 people. So much going on. We're seeing that in the landscape of college football because I've been watching all these other games since I got home, and you can see college football is all over the place right now. And so it's refreshing that we can come out with a freshman quarterback. It's refreshing we can come out with a new head coach, offense coordinator, the whole bit, and look good. Execute against a good football team. Execute, defensively and tackling well. Luke Brockermeyer, DeMario Overshown, wearing the armbanded t-shirt, supporting these brothers, man. It is refreshing. It really, really is. And I've been talking about product launch. I've been talking about product launch September 4th. And the reason why I've been saying it that way is because I really have felt like the staff, Steve Sarkisian, Jeff Banks, Pete Kwiatkowski, Kyle Flood, they've been trying to recruit and doing everything they can to pitch to these high school kids in the state of Texas, to pitch that this is something different. We have a different product. But until kids around the state, until fans like myself and people all over get to see something different from what we have been exposed to for the last 5 and 10 plus years, then that reservation still holds there. So to see them come out today against a good opponent, Louisiana did pretty much everything I expected them to do. They were a good veteran team. They didn't beat themselves early. We're going to get into the heat within the game because the heat was a significant factor for people out there. Hopefully y'all saw my tweet regarding, sunblock and people who were just out there drinking up a storm and all that type of stuff. But in terms of football, this was a successful product launch. This is the best case scenario I can ask for. Because, to be honest with you, yeah, I picked the score pretty on point, I would say. But Tran, although he didn't pick us to cover, he did say, hey, I don't think we're going to show very much offensively. I expect us to kind of, almost be vanilla, be base, and still win this football game. So in that regard, I would argue that he's correct because I didn't see anything crazy that we were doing. Now, getting to Hudson Card, his first start, I thought Hudson Card looked very, very good. Hudson Card looked like the guy I saw at Lake Travis. He was calm. He was patient in the pocket when he had his opportunities to get set. We know the offensive line had some challenges, especially in pass pro, which was to be expected. That's their weakness, by the way. But Hudson Card navigated as best he could. He ran when he could. He scored a touchdown on a read option play, which a lot of people talk about. Hey, is Steve Sarkisian going to allow his quarterbacks to run the football? Blah blah blah. Well, in certain situations, he gave Hudson Card the opportunity. Roshan Johnson got an opportunity to run some read option there and quarterback as well. And what would impress me was I was sitting in the north end zone, and north to the side, but I was sitting in the north end zone, and when we were backed up, I don't remember exactly what yard line it was. I was just there in the game. I haven't gone back, watched any film. I watched Clemson, Georgia. I watched LSU, UCLA. And so now I'm just now getting to be able to sit with you guys and respond to Texas. But when I watched them throw that deep shot to Xavier Worthy, I think it was the 34-yard play that they completed. What impressed me with Hudson Card was his patience back there. No panic. Pocket was fine, and he had a good enough pocket to throw from. But whenever you're throwing out of your own end zone, as a young player, right, whether you're at home or on the road or whatever, things can get a little nerve-wracking. I like the shots that they did take, but they weren't vanilla, right? They were just shots that they were taking. They're running offense. I didn't see anything to where I'm like, oh, like I saw orbit motion maybe one or two times. But that's good. That's a good thing. These are all good things that we're able to run our stuff, showcase. And I'm surprised I'm talking this long. I'm 7 minutes into this video. Haven't mentioned our best player, Bijan Robinson. We're able to showcase 5. He gets 20 carries on the ground. And I've told you guys, it's the diversity of touches. Yes, feeding him, getting him the rock. He had 20 carries today, which I think is a very good number against a team like this. But also, I think 4 catches for 73 yards, and as well as the opening touchdown that he caught, where he had literally half of that whole side of the field to himself from the play design. One of the things I told you guys as well was you're going to see a play where Steve Sarkisian schemes something up to where somebody is naked wide open. And you saw that literally occur with Bijan Robinson, the first touchdown that he caught. So overall, man, and I'm talking offense right now. The receivers, let's get into that. We've heard so much about the concern with the receivers. Number one, didn't see the musical chairs with the receivers like that. They rotated when they needed to. It's not like people didn't get the opportunity to play, especially late in the game. Marcus Washington came out there a couple times, but for the bulk of it, when Hudson Card and them were in there, it was Xavier Worthy, it was Jordan Whittington, it was Joshua Moore. And then they would rotate in and out of personnel packages because you saw a lot of Jared Wiley as well as Cade Brewer. Shout out to Cade Brewer, he caught a touchdown today. But the man that I'm so happy for was Jordan Whittington. We all know what he's been through. And we all know the expectations that we have for Jordan Whittington when he came to Texas from Cuero and the player he was in high school. And when I talk about expectations, like we moved to running back, like just the playmaking ability. I think what really stood out to me today was him, just the natural hand, like the receiver skills I think he's really developed in that area. His route running today, I know a lot of people hit me up about, hey, if he cuts back inside, he gets a touchdown. That's obvious. But he broke this brother down, and I know he got matched up with a linebacker, but that's the point. He gets matched up with a linebacker, breaks him down open field, blazes back to the inside, and it's just making a beautiful play. Catching the ball with his hands. There was another one deep downfield. I think Hudson Card was still in the game at that point. They caught where he was, I think, drifting out of bounds. I don't even know if it was, I think it was incomplete. But the way he was catching the football with his hands over the middle through contact. I think he finished 7 catches over 100 to 110 yards and a touchdown, run after catch, carrying guys. So you see the running back traits. If Jordan Whittington's going to play football like that, there's a reason. There is a reason why I had we on this channel why we had Jordan Whittington as our number one breakout player. Was that what you guys just saw? That's why we had him there. Yes, that route was unbelievable. Was unbelievable, Chris Hernandez. And if you guys were there at the game, or let me know as well, what you thought and how the energy was, because I want to touch on the game atmosphere in a second. But right now, I'm just stream of consciousness on thoughts regarding the game itself. But I am really, really impressed with how they came out, weathered certain situations. Were they explosive? Was it all gas, no brakes on offense? No, but it didn't need to be. And here's where football, right? Because I kind of got into this debate with my boy Hunter on Twitter, and I love Hunter, and I know he'll see this at some point. Shout out to Hunter King, a great guy. But the rotation of the quarterbacks at the end of the game was something that I think people started to nitpick, and Hunter was like, hey, I would have preferred to see Hudson Card go all the way through, get those reps, blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't disagree more. Hudson Card, we saw everything we needed to see. If you don't understand why Hudson Card won the job at this point, that's more on you than anything else, or you have an agenda. It's one of the two. However, if you're in that camp where, regardless of what camp you're in, you should be in the Texas camp. I'm in the Texas camp, regardless of all the quarterback stuff. We should understand nuance enough at this point to say, hey, he needs to keep Casey Thompson engaged. Period. He needs to keep Casey Thompson engaged. Not only does he need to keep Casey Thompson engaged, but he publicly made a promise that he was going to play. He said he was going to play both quarterbacks. And Steve is not just coaching to these players. He's coaching to these kids in Texas, that he's a man of his word. And he did that. And he didn't just put him in when the game was complete. Yes, he put him in when the game was when they had the game in full control. But with the evaluation of Hudson Card, Hudson did every single thing that they asked him to do. Yeah, there's going to be things he needs to work on. Yeah, there's going to be, pocket things and touch and all that type of stuff. But if the job was as close as they said it was, and Steve Sarkisian saying he wants to evaluate more and keep looking at this, there's no problem with putting him in. Now, Hunter's argument was, hey, it was only a 16-point game when they made the switch. You could have jeopardized some things. You could have made, you don't want quarterbacks looking over their shoulder. Well, expectations matter. Steve Sarkisian, I thought, did a terrific job of setting expectations, not only with his quarterbacks, but with us. He said all week, both quarterbacks are going to play. They played. Man of his word. And here's the other thing too. Not all 16-point leads are created equal. Not all games are created equal. Yes, it was only a 16-point lead, technically 2 touchdowns to 2 2-point conversions. However, anybody watching that football game understands that Texas had complete control of the game. I tweeted that during halftime when it was only a 1-score game. I tweeted that during halftime that Texas has complete control of the game. I also said, hey, if you're Billy Napier, you feel good about the game, it's 14-6. You're doing everything you can with your veterans to keep you in it. But it's very obvious that Texas physically is the better football team. They're not beating themselves. Texas didn't. They just needed to have that opportunity to expand that margin. They come out, I said, Golden State, KD, Steph, Clay, what they used to do back in the day where they come out in the third quarter and they blitz you. And that's exactly what we did. And we walked right down the field and got a touchdown and expanded the lead to 21-6. So they had control of the football game. They're executing. Everything's fine. And you know how you know it was the right decision? Because when Casey Thompson got in there, the party kept going. The party kept going. What you guys have to realize is, I've said this for months. The quarterbacks are a strength on this football team. The quarterback position group, in terms of Casey Thompson, Hudson Card, that is a strength. They are 2 of your best football players. That's why I damn near almost put Casey Thompson in the top 10 with Hudson Card. They're both excellent quarterbacks, and the numbers show for themselves. They're both over 90 QBR today, 3 touchdowns. They did everything you asked them to do. And on top of that, you have Bijan Robinson. And then on top of that, you have Roschon Johnson. And on top of that, you have Keelan Robinson getting there, starting to break off stuff. And then we get a healthy Jordan Whittington. We get an Xavier Worthy flashing. Yeah, I'm focused on offense right now. We're going to tap into the defense. I'm wearing the Arm Bandit shirt from Marvin Overshawn, who was everywhere today. But it made sense. And they did all of that stuff and showed nothing. I saw orbit motion like twice. There was, yeah, he mixed up the personnel. Yeah, we saw some looks with Roschon and even 21 personnel and some really cool things they did with Bijan, flexing him out. I loved how they were, moving in the tight end and flexing him and K Brewer, all these guys. But overall, man, I mean, I couldn't be more impressed. Let me get to some of these comments. Lando, appreciate the donation, brother. Thoughts on Bevo Boulevard, South End Zone atmosphere. So Bevo Boulevard was exactly what I remember from 2019. It was a little bit more amusement, and I thought it was great family atmosphere, good mix of family and just overall good vibes on Bevo Boulevard. And I got to check out the guys on 104.9 The Horn as they were doing a live show over there with Bucky Godbolt. And I was, so many of you guys, I saw y'all on Bevo Boulevard. We took some pictures, tons and tons of pictures. So make sure y'all tagging me in those on whether Instagram or Twitter. I appreciate everybody that I got to meet in person. It's been a minute. So just being out of COVID and being out and about, that was dope. South End Zone was cool. It was a little empty from my view. And I know they're still working on things over there. It sounds like the LED lights are back ordered, which is why they have the posters up. The posters aren't an issue of Ricky and Earl. They got to do what they got to do right now. That's an industry-wide challenge that is happening right now. But overall, I mean, the presentation and everything there, it's definitely on its way. It's good. I will say this, the end zone being closed off does help with the acoustics and the sound. The sound was better. And when I say sound, I'm talking about the noise, because I don't know, Trey and I were talking about it. I think it was maybe 75, 80% full in there. And I'm going to get to the heat right now too. But with it at least being enclosed, and I know you don't get that downtown shot that you used to get with it being more open, but with it being enclosed and that noise being trapped in better, I do think that makes for a much better home field advantage for Texas. And I'm not saying, look, Austin's never going to be, people are talking about like what you saw at Virginia Tech and what they do with Enter the Sandman, Metallica and all that. That is next level stuff. And we're not even talking about SEC schools. Like there's certain schools like that where that's all they have. They have one thing in that town or that city, and that's it. Even a College Station with the 12th man. We're not going to be that. We just can't be the atmosphere where we're half full at kickoff and there's no noise, there's no buzz. I will say that there was buzz at kickoff. I will say that the people that were there were certainly engaged, and I did feel like we had a home field advantage. As long as that's the case, and for big games, especially the big games, we have all that and we're consistent with it, the rest will come about, because it is a very fun atmosphere all the way around. Now, the heat was an issue for all of us. I mean, Tran looked like he was about to die out there. I saw people out there, and Tran was hydrated. He wasn't drinking. And we were just all wiped out. I also saw, young ladies and young gentlemen and all these people out here drinking up a storm. And unfortunately, EMS gets involved later. And I knew this was going to happen, where, you have situations where people needed to be taken away, and hopefully everybody's okay. But the heat was big time out there. Oh, thanks for the hat comments. Yeah, brothers were, whew. If y'all Hit me up in the comment. How did y'all battle the heat? Were y'all? Am I making too much of it? And I will say this: as bad as the heat was, I don't remember people cramping up. I don't like we. I think the Angulau got hurt. I don't know what the injury was. And Jameson went down for a second, and then obviously the Bijan thing, but he got folded. But I don't remember like where it's like, oh, it's so hot, people are cramping up and all this type of stuff. Also, we don't need to have 3:30 kickoffs during this time in Texas. Please move that to 6 o'clock if you don't mind. But that's just me. Did we really have 6 sacks? I don't know if we had 6 sacks or if we had that many tackles behind the line of scrimmage. I know Ogofu had one where Levi Lewis spun off of, I think it was Ojimo. James Arroyo said, I battled the heat. This is funny, by staying in New York. Shout out to Jay. Yeah, you guys stay safe. If you guys are out there today, I'll be honest with you, that's the hottest football game I've ever been to in my life. I've never been that hot in my life. Like uncomfortably hot. But what I was going to say was, I think that's also why they were smart. The coaches are not idiots now. And they're like, all right, we are going to have to rotate people or else some folks might die out here. Like, this is wild. So the training staff, yes, I agree, Jordan. Training staff, fantastic job today. Didn't see my big people, all that type of stuff. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. The heat was insane. We got 2 in here, 249. Please make sure you hit that like button. We only got 73 right now. Enjoying the channel from Korea was good. Hook 'em, Black Korea. Hook 'em. I got a little late night beverage myself. Still keeping the party going. Stayed hydrated all day, so I could be able to talk to you guys. What a fun atmosphere. I was worried about the defense early, so I want to transition over to what I saw defensively. And this, again, just off the top, right? I was worried about the defense initially. They were getting gashed in the run game, but they quickly made their adjustments. And the big thing too was they weren't giving up. It was almost a bend don't break approach, especially early. They got gashed. Yeah, they gave up some ground, but they didn't give up touchdowns. Held them to 3. We know Pete Kwiatkowski. We talked about this a lot last week about his goal to hold teams under 20. Well, today the number was 18, and we weren't even getting turnovers like that. And here's the thing: I think we got a fumble, and that was it. Levi Lewis, if you look at his stat line, and let me pull this up real quick. If you look at Levi Lewis's stat line, he was 28 for 40 for 282 and a touchdown. I don't think he had a turnover. But this is something I'm just going to say, just as a football person watching, and hopefully this makes sense. He wasn't taking risk, and Levi Lewis played exactly the way thought he was going to play, which is you don't have the biggest arm in the world, and because you don't have the biggest arm in the world, he is a smart veteran quarterback who understands what he can and cannot do, understands his limitations. I hate to make this comparison because I really like this guy, but it was kind of like playing against Teddy Bridgewater, where you know the guy is going to execute what he's being asked to do. Thank you for the donation. I see that. I see that there. Where you know the guy's going to execute what he's being asked to do, but at some point, if you're Levi Lewis against our defense, you're going to have to try some stuff, because once PK figured out, a lot of stuff they were doing on the pistol, a lot of some of the wide zone that they were running, cut off, turning off the faucet, so to speak, on the cutback lanes. They had to get aggressive and throw. And I told you guys, hey, get them in 2nd and 8s, get them in 2nd and 9s, and make Levi Lewis beat you. He's did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He's going to check the football down. There were times where he had one-on-one coverage, never took a shot. And if you're going to play quarterbacks like that against this type of defense, good luck. Good luck. You have to be aggressive if you're that type of quarterback playing this type of football team, or else you're done. You're done. And so, yeah, the stat line for Levi Lewis looks good, but he was so content with checking down, checking down, checking down. And Texas ate that up, as they should have. And yeah, my thing is, if you're going to be, you think back to the quarterbacks that have taken down the big, big teams, at some point you have to be willing to throw an interception. Like you have to take risk or force a ball in there. And maybe you don't have the arm talent, maybe you do. But that played right into Texas's hands. And I think we had a tremendous opportunity to build confidence off of that when we were a little rocky at the beginning on defense. Yeah, we had some tackling things we have to clean up. That's to be expected at the beginning of the year. I know Louisiana had that one touchdown where they were able to kind of to walk in, and that was frustrating. But overall, still, I like the adjustments that were made. Luke Brockemeyer, I asked the question the other day, said, hey, is it a good thing that he's starting over guys? Jalen Ford immediately came in and made a play as well. But is it a good thing that he's starting over those guys? He proved today that he belongs, at least today. I saw no issues with his mobility. I like the way he hustles the ball. He takes great angles. You can tell he's a very, very, not even just a smart football player, but instinctive from a standpoint of, being able, again, flash in a passing lane, take something away. And honestly, I think the chemistry between Brockemeyer and Overshone is pretty dope. Pretty dope. I like that crew. I really like that crew. What's good? What's good, Mr. NL? Nathan Lott, what's good, baby? Let's see here. Any concern with push from interior D line? Seemed like it was lacking. I was in the north end zone, so view wasn't the best. Yeah, I was over there in the north end zone as well. That's something I'm gonna have to get to really watch. I need to watch the TV edit, and where I can rewind and just watch the tape and see how they looked and why we were getting gashed like that early. But what's encouraging is that did not continue, and they were able to turn the faucet off. So if I'm looking at the stats here, yeah, I mean they finished, and this includes sack yardage, but even if you give Levi Lewis 20 yards back, they finished with 76 yards rushing, 2.6 yards per carry. That does include the sack yardage, but he lost 19 yards. So even if you give that back, what is that? 95 yards total on the game? 95 against the number 23 team in the country. 95. That's good D. And you have a quarterback. Yeah, we gave up 282. Fine, check it down and get 18 points. That's good defense. And the thing is, if their offense is gonna be so scared to take risk and you don't get the turnovers you think you're gonna generate, that's fine. Because eventually we're gonna play a quarterback that wants to take some risk, and then we'll have the opportunity where you'll see Sark try to get a pick, or Jaron Thompson or Anthony Cook and all these other guys really, really get their hands on the football. I didn't see too many opportunities where I'm like, oh, dudes are dropping picks and all this type of stuff. Dude didn't want to take risks. That's fine. Good luck. And this game, that's why I picked it 42-20, because I figured once we navigated through some of this stuff, I actually thought Hudson would be a little bit rockier at the start. He was fine. He was fine. Here's the other thing too. I've been watching other quarterbacks since Thursday, because Thursday was the big Ohio State Minnesota game with CJ Stroud, right? CJ Stroud's first opportunity to play. We know how rocky he looked in the first half. He was able to turn on the second half, get the ball to his playmakers. They were able to put up 40 plus. We know what happened. But even veteran guys like Sam Howell on Friday, and our prayers are with Mac Brown, of course, who lost his brother this past week. But Sam Howell, they go to Va Tech, get beat. He throws a boatload of picks, doesn't look comfortable. He's a veteran. Spencer Rattler today against Tulane. I didn't get to see the whole Tulane game, but the decision making was poor. The decision making from veteran guys was poor. And what's encouraging with Hudson Card, again, he wasn't perfect, but when the play was dead, put it in the sideline. We gonna play another down. We even had some of those issues with Sam Ellinger at times, where he was trying to be Superman. Hudson Card plays dead. I'm not going to turn the football over. 2nd and 10, no problem. We can work with it. We did get into a lot of 3rd and longs, which we were able to convert because of our talent. But overall, I was impressed with Hudson Card's ability to, when the play wasn't there, still get it figured. Still don't put your team in a negative play. If you were watching the LSU game today, you saw Max Johnson struggle with this. Somebody who played a decent amount last year. He made some of the most ridiculous throws I've ever seen in my life today, and decisions. So the decision making, again, it's such a critical part of the position. Shout out to Casey Thompson as well. We know that's been a struggle for him, from what they say behind the scenes. But when he got out there with the bright lights, he also did a good job of taking care of the football and not doing dumb stuff. Some of this stuff is just not being an idiot, taking what the defense gives you, and really capitalizing when you get those opportunities. Like when Hudson Card got the opportunity to hit the deep shot to Xavier Worthy, he hit it. When he had an opportunity to get the ball wide open into space to Bijan Robinson or Jordan Whittington, he hit it. Take what they're giving you. They had complete control of this football game against a team that knew what they were doing. So it's encouraging. It's encouraging. We didn't see anything crazy. K-Drac said Card looked okay. We didn't see anything crazy. And I said on Twitter, I mean, he didn't blow the doors off anything. But I will say this. Yeah, he had some trouble sliding. These are nitpicky things for a guy in his first start. But I also agree with this. Card has a very high ceiling. Look at how these other quarterbacks were playing, veterans and young guys. Look at the Boise State quarterback. Did anybody see what was it? Boise State and UCF. Gus Malzahn got a win because the what was the guy's name? Hank Bachmeier threw that ridiculous interception on 3rd down. You guys got to pay attention to what's going on around the country and not just Texas. Like Texas may just be able to get by with not being stupid anymore. And I know that's a very, very, broad brush, simple analysis, but when you've seen what we've had to deal with in the past, it's critical that we don't have those silly mistakes. And I'm not saying that's always going to be the case. Hudson Card was playing at home, comfortable environment, atmosphere was good. We were asked about the atmosphere earlier today. We didn't show a whole bunch of RPO stuff or anything crazy like that. It was good. We'll see what the atmosphere is in Fayette now. O-line issues. Just like I said with the defensive line, it's hard when you're at the game to get into nuance of protection and where some of the pressures are coming from. I know that some of the heaters were also some things that Louisiana was doing where they brought some edge pressures from their secondary. I really believe, when I get to watch that film again, I can provide a much better analysis on what I'm seeing in terms of the offensive line. But I will say this, every team has strengths and weaknesses. And I knew that coming into this season, I've said this with a lot of you guys, coming into the season, offensive line play and from a pass protection standpoint was going to be a struggle. For me, where I was a little disappointed, if there's anything I want to nitpick about it, because I agree with a lot of the grades. I was watching Clinton Jeremy on Texas Football Talk when I was leaving, driving safely, of course. But when I was leaving, I was watching Clinton Jeremy, and they mentioned their grades as a B+. For me, it's a B+ because I was a little frustrated with the offensive line from a standpoint of run blocking. I didn't really love what I saw. And I thought Bijan and our backs were just so freaking good and were able to create some stuff on their own. But I didn't see like this crazy amount of space for them to run like I thought I would. I thought we would do a better job, especially knowing the struggles Louisiana's had against the run. So that was a little frustrating. By the way, shout out to our sponsors, BUSR. They are our official sponsor now. And, you guys can hit up busr.com/Fanatic, promo code NFL 100FP. that is 100% free play. So they're matching everything. You put $200 up there right now, you get $200 in free play. You could have used some of that free play money to, bet on Bijan Robinson win Heisman, or bet on Texas covering, or parlay that with LSU losing and the Louisiana teams being on the struggle bus, whatever you guys want to do. But sign up on BUSR on me. O-line will get better. I agree with that. And, Kyle Flood's a good coach. I think he's not going to. It's funny because we talk about the musical chairs that we saw with the receivers, and we talk about the issues with the running back rotation. But the thing that pissed me off last season was that they never tried anything in terms of rotations with the offensive line. I do think that Kyle Flood's not going to wait and just say, all right, this is the crew, this is the crew, this is the crew. I do think that he'll be, he doesn't have loyalty to anybody here, really. So they'll be able to make it happen. I'm glad somebody mentioned Jeff Banks. This is why I like the lives, because we're all thinking together. Loved the special teams recovery love the special teams recovery on BJ Foster on the onside kick. When they come out and they're doing something like that, that was fantastic to see us being prepared for something like that. Texas was ready for it. The coach sees it, instructs the player's instinctive about it, and executes. That's football. That's football. We're not going to get caught with any BS. That's what I'm talking about, controlling the football game. Controlling the football game. Let's see. One of the throws he threw it off the back shoulder of the linebacker, so the DB coming. Yeah, I mean, it's the little things. It's the little things. Ball placement, allowing guys to have run after catch. Jordan Whittington, if the balls are not accurate, or they're slightly behind, or he has to adjust too high. You saw a ball that Tanner Morgan threw in the Minnesota game, and Lathan Ransom came and took the guy's head off. It's because the ball, and Tom Brady talked about this. I don't know if anybody saw the Tom Brady video on where he was talking to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers reporters, and he was talking about defenses getting penalized for offensive mistakes, and quarterbacks needing to be trained to throw the ball, have good decision making, but throwing the ball in the proper place. I believe you're seeing those things with Hudson Card, where he's getting Jordan Whittington, Joshua Moore, just the little things. Even Bijan Robinson, when you're throwing the ball to a running back, it's very important to be accurate, because he doesn't have, a lot of these running backs don't have the greatest hands in the world, but their gift is going to be, once they get the ball, yards have to catch and being able to make a play. So when you have a quarterback like that can put it on somebody very, very quickly, get it in their hands and allow them to make moves, that's the dream for all these guys. That's the dream. I mean, look at our distribution here. Last year, you guys remember UTEP last year? We lauded this. I know I did. I think we had 6 different people catch a touchdown in the UTEP opener last year. And today, we had 6 different people catch a pass. And I'm saying that, I'm highlighting that, because we only had 18 completions just with ball control. And again, part of the reason why we could no one was going to run a crap load of plays today because of the heat. And both sides kind of knew that, in terms of taking their time and you kind of pick and choose your spots with tempo. And I thought Steve Sarkisian did that. When he really, really needed to go tempo, he went tempo. But with the heat and everything, you weren't going to be able to hurry, run a crap load of plays. But 6 people caught a pass today. Last year, 6 people caught a touchdown in the UTEP game. But the point is that the same people were on the field. They weren't rotating people in and out. That's the point. It's the same go-to guys. That's the point. I did not see Alfred Collins play today. I did see a lot of Vernon Broughton out there. I did not see Alfred Collins play today. So that's another thing I need to go and check up on, if anybody has the scoop on what's up. let me know or put it in the chat. Just make sure you're accurate with your information. Yeah, Georgia got the dub against Clemson. I did pick that one. I didn't think it was going to be 10-3 though. That was a lot of people are going to say that's an ugly game. Some people are going to say it was a defensive slugfest. I saw a lot of high-level defensive plays in that Georgia-Clemson game for when I got back in the second half. Yes, Clemson misses Trevor Lawrence. I think Clemson misses some offensive linemen. I think Clemson misses Travis Etienne. I think they're missing a lot. They had 2 yards rushing tonight. LSU was clearly overrated. I was wrong on LSU from a standpoint of feeling like they'd bounce back. Now they've been losing some people the last few weeks that were supposed to be accounted for. I was very disappointed in how Derek Stingley Jr. played today. I didn't see that toughness. I didn't see that dog in him. You're going to rock number 7 on LSU. You got to come with it. So he's got to play better too. But they got smoked by UCLA. Good for the Pac-12. I know they took an L. They took 2 bad L's, by the way, because at least that I'm off the top of my head. Stanford got rocked by Kansas State, and Montana beat Washington tonight, 13-7, I believe. So those are some bad losses, but UCLA is going to cover it up with that win over LSU. Yes, copy. They had 2 yards rushing. Clemson had 2 yards rushing. That's not a joke. That's not a joke. So what happened do we have any OU people in here? Sooners going to take it to 50. What happened today? Why didn't you take Tulane by 50? You're the number 2 team in the country. You need to act like it. Did you see what Bama did? Did you see this is why Alabama runs the sport right now. Did you guys see how quickly they disposed of Miami? So, I mean, and I'm with you in terms of the hype that Oklahoma had received coming into the season and the expectations. I'm with you. But there's something to be said for looking the part. Like all this doubt, like I actually had people arguing with me about like viciously on Twitter for months about me gassing up Bryce Young. People arguing with me about, Bill O'Brien is such a blah, blah, blah. It is Ala freaking Bama. Yeah, it's week 1. It's week 1. I'm just saying, like, it's Alabama. They come out there and they look the part. They look the part. That's why they're the most consistent thing you can think of. All these. I mean, you can say I don't think Ohio State's going to fall far after we saw what these other teams were doing. I think Georgia's going to go up. Obviously, OU. I mean, at this point, it's kind of survive and advance. And if you're OU, you say rust, week 1 jitters. The defense definitely looks suspect. The quarterback, the little bit I did see, Tulane quarterback, didn't he fumble twice in his own side of the field and just gave up points? That, by the way, goes to the other thing I was talking about with Hudson Card about don't let dumb shit beat you. Like when you start, like he looked like, he tripped over himself and just, I understand one of them, the guy punched it out. But like just when you have that clumsy stuff happening, if you don't have that, then, it is what it is. Yeah, Tran was wiped out by the sun. It's been a long day. Tran is the soul. I agree with that. I'm not giving hot takes to get attention. What hot takes am I giving right now? What hot takes am I giving right now? That was stupid to have a game at 3:30 in Texas. I agree. It was too damn hot today. My face is still burning, and I'm not. And I put on sunblock and all that type of stuff. I put it all on. What was funny? Buddy and I were getting into a conversation about this. Black people say sunblock, white people say sunscreen. But I was like, hey, you get that sunblock on out there. Three 50-yard plus field goals from the OU kicker. Yeah, Gabe Burkage is good. Gabe Burkage is good. I was disappointed Cameron Dicker missed his first field goal. That's what we talk about, Tran, especially with consistency. Tran's been hitting on that. Hey, if you want to be all confidence and hit your goals, we got to make the 44-yarders. Like, I know you can kick one from 50 to win the game. That's not the point, but the consistency there. So we want to, there's no reason why he shouldn't be missing field goals. O-line needs to get better next week. They also need to clean up the penalties as well. Holding calls will always in your drives. You're going to have them. It's football, but the more you can minimize those things, the better we can be. We don't wear sunblock, only in Texas and Arizona. If you are out there today, I'm telling you, there's going to be some people that are going to not go to work on Monday, Monday's Labor Day, but Tuesday because of the sunburns that they got out there. That was ridiculous. Felt like we were sitting in the oven for 3 hours. Great to see our offense with an identity week one. I think that's a good comment because, again, they didn't even, run this whole expansive thing. They just looked organized. The quarterback looked accurate. The running back was featured and showcased and got the touches he was supposed to get. We had a receiver in Jordan Whittington who looked like the 5-star that we recruited 2 years ago. We have a young guy out there that was, getting behind the defense and trying to make things happen. These are all encouraging signs. All encouraging signs. Do you think both Robinson play next week at Arkansas? I hope so, unless something else is. Yeah, we got to play at night. Until the sun dies down. People that were at the game know what's up. Everybody I've talked to at the game, I've never seen that many people just standing inside, not doing anything during halftime because it was unbearable. Let's see what else. I don't know how I feel about the black cleats. The black cleats and the black socks, I think I was okay with back in the day. That was like the Colt McCoy days. Well, everybody's goal is to be 2019 LSU. That's we gotta be the best version of Texas right now. I don't know if I see a Jamar Chase and a Justin Jefferson and Terrence Marshall and Joe Burrow and all that, but I want to see the best Hudson Card. I want to see the best Bijan Robinson. I want to see the best Jordan Whittington. And I think we are definitely what we saw today was a successful product launch where you can take this product back. Yes, it's week one. Yes, it's not a whole lot, still a small sample size, but you take that product back and say, hey, we working on something. Hey, people are getting the football now. Playmakers on the field. No more musical chairs, no more dumb shit. So how did you feel when Bijan went down? My heart stopped. Weirdly, though, in my spirit, I really felt like he was going to be okay. And he was able to come back into the game. So that was fantastic. It was insanely hot. Yes, it was. Thoughts on Worthy's first game? I like the ball he caught downfield. And was able to turn around and secure the football. He had a punt return because he was back there with and sharing those duties with Deshaun Jameson. So encouraged, I would say, with Worthy. I was feeling bad when I didn't have him on the breakout players list, but I ended up leaving the game feeling validated, at least through game one, with my pick of Jordan Whittington as the breakout player. So, but Worthy's going to have, I think Worthy right now, if they keep the rotation the way that they're doing it, Worthy's going to have some games this year where he goes 4 or 5 catches for $120 and takes the top off the defense. And Hudson Card, that's also going to come with timing and all that stuff as well. I think that's what we'll continue to see. Not much of Joshua Moore signing today. This is from Chad. I thought that was pretty unfortunate. I was looking forward to seeing him, but Jay Witt stepped up for sure. The other thing I noticed, I don't know if you guys were paying attention to this. I noticed that there was really not a defined slot receiver. I saw Xavier Worthy line up in the slot a lot. I saw Joshua Moore rotate over there, also depending on the personnel package. But eventually Jordan Whittington just started. I think it was like more so third downs. He started winning from the slot. Bijan Robinson flexed in there. Roshan Johnson flexed in there. I saw a lot of variation. Nobody seemed to be pigeonholed. I saw guys line up on the outside. I saw guys line up on the inside. So I think if you're Arkansas, if you're getting ready for that game, it becomes a little bit more difficult to prep when you know that the coach is now moving pieces all over the place. See, in our previous scheme, if you were H, you were H. You were only in here, or in here. If you were, an X, you're only over here. Like there was no. I mean, we would use Colin Johnson, I guess, in the slot, from time to time to take advantage of some things. But little Jordan Humphrey was never really asked to go outside either. So just seeing that versatility is encouraging. Seeing Bijan Robinson flex into the slot and not just as a decoy, but actually running a route for him and him being the primary on a read just to get him into space is encouraging. Most concerning thing for me was Joshua Moore disappearing act. I would also say game flow too. Will want to see more. Again, we only threw the ball 26 times between Casey Thompson. Hudson Card was 14 for 21, 224, 2 touchdowns. Casey Thompson was 4 for 5, 41 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, clock, all these things. Game flow was weird. Again, the heat. I know I keep mentioning this, but if you were at the game, I mean, it was insane. And I think these coach Billy Napier and both Steve Sarkisian were trying their best to just manage things in that regard. And I think they both did a good job with what they had to work with. My heart stopped too on the Bijan play for sure. D-line was good. Needs to get more pressure. So it's weird because I know a lot of people are saying 6 sacks. I have 4 here according to the box sheet, but I don't know what the official number is because Brockemeyer and Overshown. By the way, my dude Arm Bandit, shout out to Arm Bandit because he 13 tackles, half a sack, tackle for loss. Brockemeyer 10 tackles, half sack, tackle for loss. Gofu had a sack, 7 tackles. Good performance. I thought BJ Foster played very well today on defense and special teams. So shout out to BJ as well. It's good to see those guys playing football. Anthony Cook blasted somebody late in the game. I don't know if y'all saw that. That was actually coming my way. So that was impressive as well. Let's see. A lot of Joshua Moore criticism here. So Moore needs to get better. Card and him need to get on the same page. Card through him. But I felt like Moore was getting manhandled by his cover guy. I'll have to go back and look at the tape on that and see that. I know one of them was overthrown, and then the other one. But sometimes when you see an overthrow in person, we look at the tape, and you could be right where he got rerouted. And on a timing throw can't get rerouted. So I have to see. I don't know. 283 in here. What are we looking like for these likes? Y'all know what attendance is. 152. I appreciate y'all. It's so good and refreshing to have this type of conversation, by the way. I probably haven't smiled enough. It's just because I'm tired. But it's like, when is the last time, because I was thinking about this during the game, my blood pressure didn't feel like it was going up. The only thing that was stressing me out was the heat. But in terms of the product I was seeing on the field, I felt like we had control the entire time, regardless of the mistakes that were being made, regardless of the penalties or the offensive line or some tackling things here and there, or Cameron Dicker missing a field goal early. I never felt like we didn't have control of the football game. I never felt that way. And it feels good. It feels good to be in a situation and watching a product where that these aren't stressors. We're not, doing anything that's going to put us in jeopardy that is self-inflicted. Cut Card some slack. Okay, what you guys? What's going on over here? Yeah, I know. I know. Look, we're as we dive into this, we're always going to find things to nitpick and whatnot. Just like Hunter and I got into the thing about, you know, but at the end of the day, the mission was accomplished in regards to week one. I can tell everybody's excited too because it's 1 a.m. And there's 271 people in here. A&M QBs threw 4 picks today. Yeah, Haynes King, you know, got to really hone in on that accuracy. I don't know how much he can improve there. Can run. He's very fast, but I knew that when he was at Longview. You know, A-Chain, uh, Isaiah Spiller, all of my A&M dudes, we all know they can run. Now, the thing with A&M is their schedule's so light before they get into the meat of what they got to do that they'll, you know, they can do whatever they, you know, they can do pretty much whatever they want for the next month or so. Texas doesn't have that luxury. And I'm glad Texas is approaching it like they don't have that luxury. Every week's going to be a battle. And them losing to Colorado next week. I love y'all are. If Bijan keeps this up, could he win the Heisman? He's gonna have to have some really big rushing days, but I think if he keeps up the receiving aspect of it, because I think there's some really cool things they can do with him as a receiver, and again diversity of touches, then he can have a shot. Right now, I mean, Bryce Young probably looks like one of those dudes though, with how he looked today for Alabama. He was throwing the football. I haven't seen. I need to watch the Arkansas Rice game. Definitely need to watch that game. Texas State played Baylor tough. Sounds like my buddy. The Card touchdown throw to K. Brewer, very underrated throw. Agree. There wasn't a whole lot of space for him to get that in there. You have Bryce Young and Bijan 1 and 2 in the Heisman race. It's early. It's early. But if Bijan keeps getting like even Brees Hall today, who did Iowa State play? Was it Northern Iowa? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Brees Hall only had 69 yards rushing from what I saw. Some weird football games. I mean, just some of the numbers are weird. I don't know if it's just coming back from COVID, but stuff just looked weird. Bryce Young and Hudson Card, best QBs in the country, changed my mind. Hey, Desmond Ridder and Tanner Mordecai might have something to say about that. Heard Tanner Mordecai threw 7 touchdown passes. SMU record. Same SMU that the Big 12 wants no part of. Is Hudson faster than Colt when he played at UT? Yes. Hudson's running in the 4.5s. Colt was Colt was Colt like a 4.75 guy. Colt was game fast for sure. You know, ask A&M about that. But Hudson Card, you know, I think we're starting to say this over and over again. Receiver in high school, punt returner in high school. Could have, you know, when you go and watch Garrett Wilson tape, you see what Hudson Card was doing. So this thing about, you know, there's going to be some times where Hudson Card takes off and you'll just see raw speed. Is he as fast as you know Haynes King is? Haynes King, you know, they say he's a 4.4 guy. I don't know, but you know, he definitely throws the ball a lot better than Haynes King does right now, for sure. So I don't even think that's close. Definitely protects the football better too. West Virginia felt our pain losing to Maryland. I was in a Maryland group chat, from the area, and Maryland people. Shout out to Mike, Coach Loxley, and was it Talia Tagovailoa who's over there? Shout out to them for getting a dub today. College football is back. Maryland opening day. That's what they do. West Virginia is the only Big 12 loss this week. Yeah, because Kansas got a W. Rest of the field, I wasn't even mad at them. Yeah, Tanner did go off. Tanner Mordecai definitely went off. Tanner Mordecai looked better than Spencer Rattler today. No doubt about it. I thought Hudson Card was faster than 4.7, but I could have swore I saw somewhere that he ran faster than 4.7. I could be wrong. I know he's not 4.4 like somebody else is saying here, but yeah, nobody gets up for week one like Maryland does. I did see Jatavian Sanders on field goal team and then very late in the game, and that is correct. He got penalized, I think the same time. Who else? It was two people that got a flag on that play. Somebody else got called for holding too. Prediction on amount of come. That's funny. What was Carr's QB rating? He finished with a 90. It's very, very great, very good start. Anytime you come out 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, and you come out with a 20-point dub against a ranked team in your first start, that's good money. Just put that context there alone. Yeah, he's fast enough to keep defense honest. That's the point. That's the point. We're not asking Hudson Card to be running 40s out here. I'm glad this was said in the comments. That's the point. I think we get obsessed too much with some of these times, but then when you see the person running, I mean, you can look at how fast Hudson Card looks when he's running the ball. It was 6-78 on the holding call. I thought Jatavian Sanders. Yeah, that was Okafor. I could have sworn Jatavian Sanders got called for something on that play. I have, but let's see what our. Make sure you guys take attendance, hit that like button. I appreciate everybody jumping in here. I'm just reading and listening to what everybody's saying. Yeah, I'm kind of scared at this point. I'm gonna get to the PK piece, but I'm kind of scared at this point to watch the TV copy because I don't want to hear Brando and Spencer Tillman. I don't. I mean, part of me wants to know what's going on, so I'm informed with what you guys are saying, and then part of me is just like, it is what it is. What was your favorite defensive play call by PK? Again, I have to really really study and go back to answer that question, Nathan, in terms of a particular play call or anything like that. I did like the 4th and 1 stop. I think it was it 3rd and 1? I know it was 3rd and 1 early. I thought Jacoby Jones did a great job with outside contain, who was wearing number 3 out there, and was able to widen out. I think it was on Levi Lewis or the back or one of those two. It was so early in the game, but I just like the way they handled short yardage situations. I know they weren't always on point, and they don't always get it. But the other thing too was I like the aggressiveness. We went forward on 4th and 6, didn't hesitate, didn't seem flustered. Seemed just like, yeah, this is what we do. This is who we are now. So very, very encouraging signs. Very encouraging signs. Did y'all see that boy? I agree with this. It's too early to make comps. Let's let this kid grow and see what he really has, right? Let's see him on the road. Let's see him get a road start. Let's see him deal with adversity when he gets strip sacked or throws a pick or whatever. and that character. That's what made, Vince Young and Colt McCoy, things weren't all breezy sunshine. They ended up as legends, but there was a time where people were clamoring. Some of y'all maybe even in here where y'all wanted to see the late Jevin Sneed play over Colt McCoy. It was like, hey, we need a more talented quarterback. There was a time, maybe some of y'all in here, and y'all know what I'm about to say, where y'all wanted to move Vince Young to receiver. I remember that. I remember those days because people get frustrated with seeing how young quarterbacks could develop, and if everything's not working or certain, somebody's struggling with this, and it could be for over the course of a game, it could be over the course of a few weeks. But when you see those frustrations, these are growing pains. And the good thing is there's a lot of young quarterbacks playing right now. So you're seeing this across the country. The Aggies are dealing with the same thing with Haynes King. But what's encouraging is we are having to find things to nitpick with Hudson Card because our guy looked good. And our guy looked good because we have one of the best coaches, if not the best guy, coaching quarterbacks in the country. And when Casey Thompson comes in, the party kept going because they're well coached. And so when Steve Sarkisian is talking about, I'm harder on the quarterbacks than anybody else, and they didn't play well today. Well, for another team, that could be considered good quarterback play. But for him, that's not enough. So there needs to be context, in my opinion, placed on how we evaluate those positions. And I agree with the comment about waiting to see more before we start just establishing comps and whatnot. Max said Aggies going to win the national title this year. Beat Bama. Beat Georgia. In the SEC title game, because I think SEC right now. I mean, Florida. How did Florida look? I saw Emory Jones. He was throwing picks. All these young dudes are out here throwing picks. Wrong. There were fans out there asking for Vincent to play receiver. I believe it was the Missouri game, if I'm not mistaken. I think Vince. I don't even know how many passes he completed. I think we got out of that game because he ran well, and I think that was the game where he caught like a 50-yard pass or something like that. Again, I was in high school. I distinctly remember going on message boards and people saying this guy needs to be moved to receiver. That actually happened. That wasn't just coming from boosters. There were fans out there saying that. I completely disagree with this. All hands on deck for Ark. Absolutely. It's got to be because at this point it's consistency over time with this football team. We had a great product launch. We had a good first week. We looked better than a lot of schools that were perceived to be better than us. Yeah, we had people all over the place saying dumb shit like, "Why is Texas ranked?" and all this stuff. Texas was overrated. But meanwhile, you're seeing all these different schools have issues. It's 1 week, and you'll see. Florida was mid. I agree. And so these, Dan Mullen knows how to coach quarterbacks too. He'll figure out something that works for Emory. Lincoln Riley's not going to allow Spencer Rattler just. It's not going to allow Spencer Rattler just to keep doing his own thing. He'll reel him back in. But Texas got to take advantage now. Texas will be a basic. Let's see, we got an Aggie in here. Yeah, Jordan knows what I'm talking about. I wasn't made up. It's just that it was so long ago that Vince Young became a legend that people don't even remember that anymore. LSU just didn't lose, by the way. LSU just didn't lose, by the way. LSU got their ass whooped. Boutte is a dog. Boutte looked fantastic. He looked like Chase, but LSU got the ass whooped by UCLA. Chip Kelly's back. Chip Kelly is back. Good for Chip. I agree. We need the Cowboys to win on Thursday. We need the Cowboys to get that dub. Totally agree. Somebody said ill cowgirl. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'll go for a few more minutes. Y'all are showing a lot. I mean, everybody's excited right now. I am too. I am too. I don't know what's going on with Sting, but I agree with this comment here. I know I'm ready to go there as well. I gave him a pass for last season because everything around the program seemed to be a mess with LSU. But what I saw tonight was not good. That was that play where that guy, he should have knocked that guy out of bounds, man. He didn't even need to get the brother on the ground. All he had to do was just knock the guy out of bounds. LSU got their ass whooped. Where are all the LSU people that were here a few years ago? And that's the thing. Who just said this? This is a good point. LSU got killed in the trenches. I never thought I'd see that with UCLA. Never thought I'd see that. Hey, Amin, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And everybody that showed love to me today at DKR, it was a good atmosphere. Somebody else said that earlier. It was a good atmosphere. And, you know, was it, you know, for this opponent, for everything that was going on and for the game to be as hot as it was, I thought it was a very good atmosphere. The energy held, you know, people did everything they could to be as loud as possible and to be as engaged as possible, considering the circumstances of the weather. LSU got waxed. Yes, they did. Did y'all see the play when was the guy's name, Zach Carbonet? I think he was the one that scored, and the guards got Stingley. Like Stingley, he tried to stick his neck in there and he got mauled. I think it was by two linemen, or it was a guard and a tight end. Somebody was pulling. Just Jesus. Somebody eat some Whataburger for me. I'm in Tennessee. They said some of these fans are trying to find Joe Brady. Yeah, we will be there, Nathan. We definitely will be there. That's. Hey, think about it, Nathan. We have October 2nd. Texas is going to be in Fort Worth to play TCU, and then October 9th, Texas is going to be in Dallas for the Cotton Bowl. So that's 2 weeks in a row. Texas will be in DFW. Absolutely. This is another good point. We still have COVID going on. Look at Lane Kiffin. I think they play Louisville on Monday, and he tested positive for COVID. And you know, you're talking about people that are vaccinated, right? So anything can happen. Anything can happen. Jess, where's Tate right now? Is Tate at UNLV? Jess, is Tate at UNLV? I agree. I mean, this is not even a hot take anymore. DTR is better than Tate Martell. Just jumping around. But yeah, going back to the point that was made about COVID, I think it's very valid. I think it's very, very valid. With you got to have people ready to go. That's why it was important. Forget the quarterbacks for a second. It was important for Keelan Robinson to make it to get acclimated today. I thought that was a very good job by Steve Sarkisian and Stan Drayton to get him some good, valuable reps today. He's not starting at UNLV. Tate Martell, are y'all serious, or are y'all messing with me? Dude, at what point do you just, I don't know. Yeah, some of you guys are a little bit older. Y'all remember the drama that was happening with Vince Young. Yeah, I remember. It was short lived. It was short lived because after it was freshman year was struggle, but then like halfway through the sophomore year, we really just got into it. Started running everything from the gun. After I think we lost to OU 12-0. I don't think Vince Young lost a game again after that in college. I did not see the Arkansas game. I need to go look that up. He changed positions too. Really? What is going on with Tate? I gotta go watch RJ's video about. He made a video about I know he did, but about the OU Tulane game. I gotta go check that out after I'm done with this, and I'll shoot him a text tomorrow. Make sure his blood pressure is okay. I love my friend. People want. Yes, people. This is. Hey, y'all remember what was up? What was happening back then? I didn't hear any SEC chants for whoever just asked that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where I was sitting, I didn't hear any SEC chants. But this happened. Colt McCoy's sophomore year. That was the late Jevin Sneed. People because he arm talent, big arm, Florida, former Florida commit. We flipped him, the whole thing. We'll be there. We there almost. Well, the only home game I'm gonna miss is Rice. So if you're there, these other games, come give Show Tran and I some love over in section 26 ourselves on the north side. Y'all leave Tate alone. See, I don't want to be now I feel like we being cyber bullies, but I'm still showing the comments. Y'all leave Tate alone. Y'all are going in right now. Oh man, what was that? What was the show on Netflix that what was it, QB1? Man, man, oh man. I'll go for a little bit more. 197. Let's get over 200 likes in here. Let me look at the Arkansas. I haven't seen the Arkansas game. So let me see where's the I saw Catalan got 2 picks, but it's Rice. And I saw that like it flashed across the screen on ESPN. I didn't see. Where's the? I just clicked that one by mistake. It's late. Forgive me. How to get Akron? How did I get on the Akron Zips? What the hell? Can't get jiggy with this shit. How do you get on Akron? I'm trying to get to Arkansas. Oh, here we go. It's 38-17. I'm just looking at the box score. So Jefferson, did Malik Hornsby play today? No, it was just KJ. So I guess that's who we'll see next week. QBR is not great. Looks like they ran the ball okay. I'll have to look at the film. I'm not going to analyze a box score because that can be very misleading. Very, very misleading. It looks like they were losing at halftime, 10-7. Yeah, see these games against these type of opponents, and this is what I saw playing out with Texas as well. You're always going to have the horses, or excuse me, you're going to have the adrenaline carry through in the beginning, especially if you're well prepped. You're not afraid of the opponent. I felt that way with Louisiana today, but eventually you're going to run out. It's college football, and you have these massive rosters and all this talent. You're going to get overwhelmed over a period of 4 quarters. That's what normally happens. UTSA had a very nice win today over Illinois. I love what Jeff Traylor's doing down there in the 2-1-0. Shout out to my boy Brandon, everybody down there in that area that's doing a great job. There's so many underrated recruits down there, and not just like the Civilo Steels of the world, but some really good talent, some good kids who I think Jeff Traylor is really doing it. You know, from what I've heard of trying to lock down that area a lot better. What was said? Who said what? Who was? I'm trying to find this. Yeah, LSU, Terry, go watch the LSU highlights. I beg, please go watch the LSU highlights. They got their ass whooped. I have to get Billy on the channel somehow, some way. I need to get him on here when they're down bad. I got to get Billy back on here. I was texting Billy during the thing, and man, he was not happy with what he was seeing. I wouldn't have been either. So nobody wants to open their season getting their ass whooped like that. Yeah, go check it out. Y'all are cruel. Nebraska will never be good again. Oh boy. I thought UTSA beat Illinois. They beat no. I thought they beat Illinois. All right. I'm definitely cutting this thing at 1:30, so we'll go. I got 9 minutes in me. I can go 10 more minutes. 10 minutes. I oh, this is a good one. So somebody said one of those dudes on Twitter said that Coach O about to be the next super recruiter / bagman at some is a D line coach at another school. I couldn't help but laugh. But was Gene Chizik at Auburn maybe the fastest one to go from natty to fired when they realized that that was just straight up Cam Newton? The UTSA versus Illinois post game thread. It's just people straight up. Yeah, I think it was Gene Chizik. Gene Chizik, off the top of my head, if somebody asked me who's the fastest to go from natty to fired, I would have to say Gene Chizik. Unless there's a college football historian that's older than me that can come up with a better name. And I'm not talking about somebody that we're talking about fired. It's got to be Gene Chizik. Auburn, and then Gus took over, and you remember that Nick Marshall, Trey Mason crew went back to the national championship. They did lose to Jameis Winston in Florida State, though. That was a good game. Tulane. Hold on, I showed the wrong one. Tulane. LSU was fourth. La Tech almost would they lost by 1 to Mississippi State. Yeah, Les Miles had more time. I thought Les Miles had more time than Gene Chizik did. Michael Sproul said Chizik was gone in 2 years. Let's go look that up. I think was it within 2? Yeah, it had to have been within 2 years because they went back to the national championship against Jameis Winston. So it's definitely got to be Gene Chizik. I agree with this. I agree with this comment. I'm gonna give OU the benefit of the doubt. I'm not gonna give their defensive benefit of the doubt, but as a team, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. And I don't want to say they were bored and almost got caught, but I do agree that Louisiana is better than Tulane from what I'm seeing. However, they've got to get the defense that we expected more from the Oklahoma defense this year. I haven't seen it. course, Coach O won't last long. That's starting to be a growing belief. Because if you guys think about it, it's a good point. He's already overturned the since Joe Brady left. Because at what point do you start saying, uh, was that you or was that Joe Brady? Just like with Gene Chizik, was that you or was that Cam Newton and Gus Malzahn? See, look, as soon as I say that, it's already in the comments. A lot of this is as soon as you say that, it was fired shortly after. How long? I thought Les was there longer than that, though. Let's go look it up real quick. That's my house. He's probably out of coaching for good after everything that's happened. I don't see how he can come back from that. Yeah, Les Miles coached another 8 years after winning. He went. Now they went in 2011 to the. They didn't win a natty. His last natty was in 07, and he coached LSU through 2016. So it's definitely Gene Chizik. It's definitely Gene Chizik. Yeah, somebody else just looked it up too. Man, he still has no D as. Okay. That's when I got to start hanging him up. I'm buzzing off the wind too. We just you see how chill the chat is right now. Everybody's in here just chilling. This is how winning feels. We're not over here. Somebody said at the beginning, I think in the chat while I was reading them and I was getting set up, and somebody said Steve's not going to flip his light or his lamp and all this type of stuff. I don't gotta do that when we come out and handle our business and look good, like aesthetic. That's why I talk about aesthetically pleasing, like especially when I'm watching these other schools. Washington lost to Montana. All these teams that looked suspect. It's one game. Still one week. For all the people that say we overreacting in here and all this type of stuff. It's 1 week. It's 1 week. It's one game. Oh, I do want to touch on this before I bounce. Steve Sarkisian, when I caught and I don't know if I touched on this earlier, but Steve Sarkisian said something at the end. I don't know if he was just being interviewed by 1049 or if it was late in the presser. I'll go back and see and confirm. But he said something that really, really resonated with me from a standpoint of Steve was asked about his anxiety or just how he felt, coming in the game, wanting to put on a show, blah, blah, blah. And I thought his answer was so reflective of the person that we're getting and where he is in life, because he essentially said, I didn't really get too much anxiety about this game because I'm at a place in my life where I'm really comfortable with my mental space. And what he said was, because I'm comfortable within my mental space, I don't get too high and I don't get too low. And I basically try to encourage my team to just go out there. He was like, really, I was just trying to have fun. I was just, and encourage the team to do the same thing, to go out there, have fun, enjoy yourself. But it's also business. We have to execute. We have to, everything you've been coached and trained to do it. But at the end of the day, it's football, right? And I think when you have the perspective of being rock bottom and down and out, that's what helps you click with a BJ Foster. That's what helps you click with the Joshua Moore. That's what helps you click with the Anthony Cooks of the world and people that have had some struggles and some challenges. And it's like, yo, it's football. Sam Ehlinger mentioned this too. And I know he's completely different, but when Sam Ehlinger was being interviewed by the Colts and he said, at the end of the day, it's just football. This is a guy that lost his brother, Jake Ehlinger, this past offseason in this team, right? And I think I heard my man, the Arm Bandit, had 12 on or something like that for Jake. So I thought Steve's perspective was very, very refreshing to hear because in a world where everything seems crazy, and yeah, we all want to win. Everybody's desperate to win. It's a high pressure job. I have a high pressure career and job outside of what I do in this space for YouTube. But I think him learning how to better protect his mental space and focusing on the task at hand, it allows him to better focus on the task at hand, allows him to channel his gifts into what he needs to do to develop the quarterback. Like he handled the quarterback situation, and even up through now, it's all been on his terms. It's all been on, I'll tell you when the quarterback's right. I don't need y'all to pressure me into doing anything. You guys aren't going to pressure me into playing this player versus this player. I'll tell you when I'm ready. And I think that's why what happened with Casey Thompson today was so important, not just for Casey Thompson, but for the rest of the team to see. Coach comes out, makes a public promise to a player, and upholds the promise. And then everybody else gets to see. And it may not be a big deal to a lot of people, but that was something that was a big deal to me to see. And I think it gives everybody their credibility. And I just love the way he's handled himself. And I can see that ease. Hudson Card taking his first snaps as a starter. It's not overwhelmed. Now, road, different situation. Saw Sam Howell. Other guys struggle. Road scenarios. Max Johnson struggled on the road on the West Coast today. So we'll get to see these are going to be a serious test. But guys, 38-18 win, 20-point dub over a ranked team, game one. Couldn't ask for more. Couldn't ask for a better start. So y'all, thank y'all for rocking with me. It's almost 2 a.m. and still over 200 people in here. And you guys are just unbelievable how you supported us. Thank you to our sponsor, BUSR.com. And seriously, guys, go sign up. I know a lot of people have been hitting the link and especially if you're somebody who is into sports betting and want to take advantage of that. It's something that I may even do some live bets or share some stuff on this channel. But hey, we've been giving predictions and scores for years. It's just that now you guys have a place to go do it. And if you listen to my prediction this week, you would have made some money like I did. So let's have some fun and being responsible, of course. But we really, really, really appreciate BUSR taking care of this channel and giving me the opportunity to continue to grow this platform the way it deserves. So, man, it was good to put the horns up today. And yeah, I got this shirt up here. Shout out to DeMarvin Overshone. He looked healthy today. He picked up right where he left off in the Colorado game. So couldn't be more excited. Guys, it's been a blast. Have a great Labor Day weekend. What a start. See everybody in Vietnam. We'll have previews coming. I'll do a breakdown. We'll really, really dive into some things that I didn't notice at the game. We'll get Tran back on. I want to have some other guests. That's the other thing, too. This one's really late, but we'll have, people like Texas Homer, people like Brad Kellner jumping in on some of these later lives that we do. I think Texas Football Talk right now will probably handle a lot of the lives immediately after the game. And then, a little bit later in the evening, as things, digest, we'll be on for the more of a late night post game show like you're seeing here. Maybe not maybe not this late, but getting on with some of the other guys, getting different perspectives. I have some goals to this channel, some other goals that I want to have that are going to be more engaging with you guys as well. But remember, horns always up. Got the dub today. Thank you.